Hi, Dr. Fink here, and today we'll talk about why testosterone doesn't work the way it should. Okay, so this could be endogenous, meaning your own testosterone production, or if somebody is on testosterone replacement therapy as well, why don't we get the results we would like with the amount of testosterone we are taking or having in our body naturally. So it goes both ways, naturally and exogenously. So we have to understand that we are different genetically. Each individual is different. And testosterone is an androgen, okay? So it is an androgen. And androgens are binding to androgen receptors. And when testosterone binds to an androgen receptor, that's when it basically takes the action it should take. Okay, so let's say we have the androgen receptor here, and now we have testosterone floating around, and testosterone will bind to the androgen receptor, and it will enter the nuclei of the cell, so it will go all the way inside of the cell. Hence, testosterone is a steroid hormone, so it goes all the way inside of the cell into the nucleus, and there it alters the DNA transcription. That's why it's so powerful. Okay, so the first limiting factor we have is the amount of androgen receptors we have. So we can have a high level of testosterone, but if we have low levels of androgen receptors, our testosterone binds to these androgen receptors to be efficient, to take the actions it should. So androgen receptor insufficiency leads to not the results we would expect with the amounts of testosterone we have in our blood. Okay, so if we don't have enough androgen receptors, there's not enough binding site for testosterone, so the actions of our testosterone will be much weaker. Okay, so this is the first one. Then we have a second one called SHBG, sex hormone binding globulin. Okay, so as the name says, binding globulin means testosterone is floating around, and now we have one of these sex hormone binding globulins, and it will bind to testosterone, and it will basically inactivate it. Okay, once it is bound with sex hormone binding globulin, the testosterone becomes inactive. Okay, so the higher our SHBG, the lower, the weaker the effects of our testosterone. Okay, so this is the second one. Now, thirdly, we have so-called CAG repeats. CAG repeats. So CAG is basically a genetic predisposition we have in our androgen receptor, and the longer the amount of CAG repeats is, the less efficient our testosterone is. Okay, so there is between around about 9 to 30 repeats for the CAG in our androgen receptor, and the lower, the stronger the effects of testosterone, and the higher, the weaker. Okay, so this is something we can test, genetic testing, the expression of CAG repeats in our androgen receptors, and if they are short, the effects of testosterone are very pronounced, and if they are long, the effects are weaker. Okay. So first, the number of androgen receptor themselves. This is something we cannot really regulate with supplements or such, but training, for example, increases androgen receptors, and that will indirectly improve the efficiency of testosterone. SHBG can be modulated via certain medications, which is not optimal, of course, but also training and a healthy nutrition can also improve the levels of SHBG to allow us to have more free testosterone and have more potential for testosterone to act in our body. CAG repeats, it is genetically a predisposition, so there is not much we can do here for CAG repeats. That's also why, for example, person A has a testosterone level of 300 and person B has a testosterone level of 900, and person A has more muscle mass with the same training and the same diet. This is just because the effects of testosterone are much more pronounced in the person with the short CAG repeats in the 300 group, and the long CAG repeat in the 900 individual will downregulate the effects of testosterone. Okay, so it is not because we have high testosterone or we take a lot of testosterone exogenously that we will automatically react more to testosterone. It is influenced by the number of androgen receptors, our sex hormone binding globulin levels, and most importantly, the CAG repeat in our androgen receptors. Okay, so we have to look at all those in order to understand how well we react to testosterone.